guys, time to chill out with Sub-07, and welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Crystal. Last time, our journey started off with a bang as we acquired one of my favorite Pokemon of all time as our new starter, Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil family is my favorite, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not even gonna hide that or sugarcoat it. This is one of my favorites. And of course, we were given an objective by Professor Elm to go check out Mr. Pokemon to see what he had to share with us. He shared with us a mysterious egg. Eggs might not seem mysterious to you, but if you played any game that was Gen 1, eggs didn't exist in Gen 1. This is a new thing. This was a brand new addition to the series to have Pokemon eggs. Somehow. We'd apparently never noticed the eggs in any other game before this. This time, let's go head back to the lab. Oh, hang on, someone's calling. Hello, Kyle? It's a disaster. It's just terrible. What should I do? Oh no. Please get back here now. Well, that's not good. And I can't assume it's arson because I took the fire starter. Let's head back there. Hard to tell what exactly happened because it seems like he was just in a panic over something, but it can't be good. While we're heading back, I want to talk to you a bit about type advantage because that's something that's kind of important to remember. Types are good against different types, and they resist different types. This applies to all types, and in Generation 2, there are 17 types total. Let's take this one step at a time and talk about this in a simple matter. The classic fire, grass, water scenario. Fire beats grass beats water, and water beats fire. Self-explanatory. Other types, in terms of their weaknesses, we'll explain as we go. Normal, for instance, is the move that we're using, because we only have normal type attacks. Normal is not good against anything, but it's only resisted by a couple things. It's a good jack-of-all-trades move for dealing damage to things. You might want to keep that in mind if you are trying to use other moves. It's a good coverage move if you don't have something that works against certain things. Just be warned, normal is not perfect, and it is resisted, or in some cases outright immune, by some Pokemon. Also worth noting, abilities do not exist in Generation 2. That was a Gen 3 thing. So certain Pokemon are not as good as you think they are, and may have more obvious weaknesses. I'll explain what that means later. First things first, I think, do we need to heal? Not really, but I'm gonna do it anyway just because we can. Health is important in this game. Especially because you never know. It could be important to just be at full health because one bad hit could always spell disaster. It's not like we're playing a Nuzlocke, thankfully, but that's not something to worry about for another day. If you don't know what Nuzlocks are, look them up. It's great, I can store any number of Pokemon, it's all for free. The communication center upstairs was just built, but they're still finishing it up. That is tied to link trading, which is where you can work with another person to trade Pokemon. We're not going to be doing that for a long time, but we will be doing it at some point, I promise. That PC is free for any trainer to use. Why nice. I actually should note, the version of the Crystal that we're playing is not the original Game Boy Color version. It's actually the re-release. Yes, this game did get re-released. It was ported to the 3DS Virtual Console. It is not currently available on the Switch Online service. It might be available for the Switch 2 in the future. I don't know. I really hope it does, because this version is the best version for one reason in particular, which we'll find out much, much later. Let's head back to Newbark. Or not. You got a Pokemon at the lab. What a waste. A wimp like you. Don't you get what I'm saying? Well, I too have a good Pokemon. I'll show you what I mean. Time for our first instance of a trainer battle. Huh? Wants to battle. Yeah, we don't actually catch this guy's name. He sends out Totodile. He will always send out the starter that corresponds to what your starter is weak to. So bear that in mind. Luckily, we have 3 moves at our disposal. Let's use Leer. The defense is gonna fall for now. Oh, uh-oh, he's a bit smart. Last time I did this as practice, he actually just kept scratching me, so he's a bit smarter than he was last time, that's for certain. Ow. Looks like this is gonna be a war of endurance. I think we got this, though. Yo, crit, let's go. Come on, Cyndaquil, you got this. Nice! 70 experience points for that. Trainers Pokemon usually give better experience than wild Pokemon. That is how you will get the most levels. Huh. Are you happy you won? $300 for winning. And you get money for beating trainers. My name's... I'm gonna be the world's greatest Pokemon trainer. Get out of my way, bitch! What an asshole. if you've never played or seen the Generation 2 games or Hard Gold Soul Silver, this might be a shock to you. There were such things as asshole rivals back then. We didn't start getting nice rivals until Gen 3, and we never went back, unfortunately. Well, I can't say that too much. There are some assholes in later gens. For now, we just kind of want to head back to New Bark, so let's hop and just continue on our merry little way. Because as they mentioned, we can just kind of avoid all the tall grass if we're careful with where we jump. Like this. Nice and easy. And we're home. Let's see what the hell happened at the lab, because sounds like disaster. Oh, the cops are here. I heard a Pokemon was stolen here. I was just getting some information from Professor Elm. Apparently, it was a young male with long red hair. What? You battled a trainer like that? Did you happen to get his name? You can call this guy anything you want. There is no censor or anything to stop you. If you want to call him Dickhead, you can. I'm personally not going to, and I know canonically speaking, this guy's name is Silver. I have a bit of a weird tradition with this game. I don't know why I did this, but every single time, my rival in this game, I named after my dad, and his name is Keith. I don't know why, he just always has been Keith to me, and I can't explain it. Okay, so Keith was his name. Thanks for helping my investigation. You alright, Professor Elm? What's up? Kyle, this is terrible. Oh yes, what was Mr. Pokemon's big discovery? It was this. He found an egg. What? This? But, is it a Pokemon egg? If it is, that's a great discovery. What? Professor Oak gave you a Pokedex. Also, I love the implication of, is it a Pokemon egg? Implying there are non-Pokemon eggs out there. What does that mean? I don't know. Maybe they just think it's an execute. Professor Oak gave you a Pokedex? Kyle, is that true? That's incredible! He is superb at seeing the potential of people as trainers. Wow, Kyle. You may have what it takes to become the champion. You seem to be getting on great with Pokemon, too. You should take the Pokemon Gym Challenge. The closest gym would be the one in Violet City. Kyle, the road to the championship will be a long one. Before you leave, make sure that you talk to your mom. Ah, yes, not Dad. And unfortunately for us, the last starter will be forever staying here. You cannot get the third one no matter what you do. Don't get any ideas. So Chico, I'm sorry, you're gonna sit out this adventure. Maybe another time. Kyle, use these on your Pokemon quest. We receive Pokeball. To add to your Pokedex, you have to catch Pokemon. Throw Pokeballs at wild Pokemon to get them. We put those in the ball pocket. Yep, we have a pocket specifically for Pokeballs. Gen 1 didn't even have pockets. It was all in one bag. Gen 2, we at least had the audacity to divide them up equally. We got TMs and HMs, key items, ball pocket, and regular items. Quite nice. But yeah, he said we should check up on Mom. We probably should. Just so she knows what we're doing. Wow, that's a cute Pokemon. Where'd you get it? Uh-huh. So, you're leaving on an adventure. Okay, I'll help too. Well, what can I do for you? I know. I'll save money for you. On a long journey, money's important. Do you want me to save your money? If you do this, money you receive from battles will go partially to her. That may not seem like a bad thing. And it isn't, but every so often she will call you and buy something with your money. She won't tell you about it until after she's already bought it, so you can't stop her from doing that. Unless you tell her not to save your money. I don't personally care. We're not going to need that much. Save my money, please. Okay, I'll take care of your money. Be careful. Pokemon are your friends. You need to work as a team. Now go on. Alright, Mom's giving us her blessing. You know what that means? It's time for adventure. And off we go. Now that we got Pokeballs, it's time for something a bit different as well. I've seen you a couple times. How many Pokemon have you caught? Would you like me to show you how to catch Pokemon? You know what? Sure. It's easy to demonstrate through a visual anyway. So this guy has exactly 5 Pokeballs. Dude, use the Pokeball. The way this works, they will go inside. If the ball shakes 3 times and changes color, you got it. Pokemon can break out after 1 shake, 2 shake, or 3 shakes, so you gotta be careful. Sometimes you can do it at 0 as well, which is unfortunate. That's how you do it. If you weaken them first, Pokemon are easier to catch. It is very important to remember that. Don't try and catch them at full health unless you really know what you're doing. Now, about those bios that I promised. Oh boy. Let's begin. This journey starts like it always does. We got some very simple early game mobs to talk about. And first things first is old reliable, Pidgey. Pidgey is about as straightforward as you can get. It's a normal flying type, straightforward bird. These things are going to be everywhere, and you're going to encounter a lot of them on your adventure. I would not personally recommend you have Pidgey long term, but it is a Pokemon that is worth using short term. Normal flying is a decent enough type that, while it has a couple weaknesses, does come with some added bonuses of immunities to certain types as well. You might not think this thing is all that good, and its typing and movesets may not seem all that impressive, but Pokemon is a series where you can really make any Pokemon work so long as you're willing to use them. Pidgeot's stats, its final evolution, are nothing special outside of a decent enough speed stat, so I don't recommend you think too hard about them. Otherwise, you could do worse, you could do a lot better though. Also native to this route, however, as we've already seen, is Sentret. Sentret is brand new to this generation, and it is average. It's a pretty normal Pokemon, and is purely normal type. That does not mean much. Normal types are typically jack of all trades, master of none, meaning that they can learn a lot, but their stats might not be all that impressive. I don't recommend you get a Sentret, but Furret can be useful. It's very fast, and it's got decent enough health so it can survive hits. And it does evolve relatively early for a Pokemon in this game, so if you want one, you could always go for it. Last but not least, for the main encounters is Rattata. The traditional early game rat is normal for Pokemon, and Raticate and Rattata are no exception. Rattata is decent enough, it hits decently hard, and it moves pretty fast. It will fizzle out later on in the game, but for an early game Pokemon, this is a decent enough pick. It learns some powerful moves, and you might be surprised by how effective it can be if you use it right. However, this is also when Generation 2 starts to demonstrate how different it is. For one thing, regional variations and times of day influence certain things, such as encounters. There's one other encounter that we haven't seen yet, and I don't think we're going to see it because it's a 5% encounter rate on this route, so I'll just talk about it real fast, unless we somehow spot it right now. No, it's Sentret. But no, the last Pokemon for this route that we can normally obtain is Hoppip. Hoppip is new, and it's a very different Pokemon compared to the other three. It's a grass flying type. Grass types are normally not the best offensively, and Jumpluff is not the exception. Hoppips are more focused on kind of surviving because Hoppips kind of suck. They're super weak, but in time, they'll learn some good status moves that can be very useful as Pokemon to help you catch other Pokemon. They can learn Sleep Powder, they can learn Poison Powder, Stun Spore. They're decent enough at doing that. These things are not good at fighting by themselves and have a lot of weaknesses, but they have some purposes. I would recommend them if you want something to help you put things to sleep. Now, there is also this building, which we haven't actually gone into at all. You might be wondering, okay, well, what's up this way? Turns out, it's another route. You can't climb ledges, but you can jump down from them to take a shortcut. True. Different kinds of Pokemon appear past here. If you want to catch them all, you have to look everywhere. Also true. This is Route 46. We cannot go any farther because there's a ledge blocking the way, but there's still tall grass here, meaning there's still wild Pokemon you can encounter. Like Geodude. Geodude is a rock type, a rock ground type specifically, and it is a very defensive Pokemon. This is a blessing and a curse. Rock types are normally good at resisting a lot of types, but they come with their own set of weaknesses, and being a rock ground type, Geodude suffers in the form of having 2 times 4 weaknesses both to water and to grass. It resists a lot of other things, but those are 2 crippling weaknesses that you have to play around. If you're willing to do that, the Geodude family can be worth your time. They're decent enough physical fighters, and they have some pretty high physical attack. The only problem is that they're also kind of slow, so be careful. Let's see if we can also run into the other things around here, because there's a couple of encounters. Well, there's Rattata. Doesn't look like we'll be seeing it, so I'll try and skip ahead. Ugh. My voice is still a bit shot, so bear with me on this. The other Pokemon that we can run into is Spearow. Spearow is like Pidgey if it was more of a I don't care Pokemon. This is a Pokemon that will be a lot more aggressive and in your face. Spearow are designed to be faster and hit harder, and they're decent enough early game and can actually be pretty useful long term as well. I used a Spearow in my playthrough of Fire Red Leaf Green a few years ago, and it served me well there. Only warning is that it is a normal flying type, so don't expect it to get much variety on its moves. Normal moves and flying moves are most of what you're going to get. Now, we're gonna diverge a bit, because Gold and Silver have a 5% encounter rate to encounter Jigglypuff. A pure normal type that will later be changed to a fairy type in Generation 6. Jigglypuff is fine. It's got decent enough health, it's not super powerful, it learns a lot of different moves. It does learn Sing, which is a very good status move to have. There's not much else reason to have this thing on your team, I'm gonna be honest. Normal types, again, are jack of all trades, but Jigglypuff is a prime example of just a kind of average Pokemon. I would not personally recommend it. What I would recommend is the other Pokemon you can run into. Exclusive to Crystal version, and in mornings in this place, you can run into Phanpy. And yes, oh my god, I found a Phanpy! No, we actually can't right now, it's not morning. Phanpy are exclusively found in the morning hours for Crystal version, and they're very rare, hard to find Pokemon. They'll always be level 2, and they will try to run away from you. They are not Pokemon that want to deal with you, and you need to remember that, because they will try to bolt at the earliest opportunity. This is a Pokemon you want to try catching immediately instead of trying to weaken. And there's the Spearow that I was looking for, finally. Yeah, Spearows are a bit of glass cannons. They actually hit decently hard, but they have low defenses, so keep that in mind. I would say Phanpy is a pretty worthwhile Pokemon to use. It's got good defense, it hits pretty hard. It's a little bit slow, but not that bad, and it's a pure ground type, so it doesn't suffer from the same weaknesses that the Geodude family has. Legitimately, a great pick that is worth your time if you want to use it. Though, personally, none of these Pokemon are for me. I'm just going to keep moving on. Now, one thing I am going to try and do, we're going to be trying to do some running around so that we can avoid certain encounters, because I don't want Inferno here to get too powerful. The last thing you want if you're trying to get new Pokemon is for your one Pokemon to be too powerful, because then you run the risk of killing them in one hit, and that's just never fun. Back to Cherry Grove we go, and some things are different now. Because we've progressed the story up to a certain point, talk to this guy. Pokeballs are in stock! Now I can catch Pokemon. Once you obtain them from Professor Elm's assistant, you can encounter Pokeballs freely in Mars. It's quite nice. Still have to buy them, but it's worth it. Let's heal. Much better. Hope to see you again. Thank you. Let's get out of here. Now, of course, next spot on our destination, Professor Elm mentioned Violet City. Now, that is not currently where we are. We are in Cherry Grove, but if we head north, we should encounter that no problem, and that guy is trapped on the rock over there. Poor sap. Let's head upward. However, there are also even more Pokemon you can run into in Route 30, and let's get into those as well. We've already seen one of them. Let's talk about that one specifically. It's Caterpie time, baby. Early game bug types tend to be very quickly dropped off in this game, and that's no exception for Generation 2. Caterpie is okay. It's not terrible, it's not great, it's average, and it will fizzle out of its use after a first gym or so. It does evolve very early. Bug types normally evolve very quickly, which is quite nice. However, that means it will fizzle out of use very quickly because its stats will not keep up with the rest of you. Butterfree, its final evolution, is a bug flying type, which is pretty generic and runs into a lot of weaknesses. I would not personally recommend you use a Butterfree long term, but short term it could be useful. There are some things that would be worthwhile for it. Now, next up is the Weedle family. Weedle is different in that it's a bug poison type, sort of the introduction to poison as a status ailment if you run into that. Weedle are a bit better, but they're still outclassed by later Pokemon. They'll be a bit more offense-oriented, which is kind of nice, but I wouldn't recommend these guys long-term anyway. Don't bother. That being said, we also have some other changes. Because in the morning, you can sometimes run into the unique Pokemon of Leddyba. It sucks, don't use it. Leddyba is incredibly mediocre. It is another instance of an early game bug type that wears out its use super quickly. It has a very tempting looking special defense stat, but that is not worth your time, I promise you. Its low health is not worth it to try and invest that time into. Leddyba is just kind of there for the sake of having an early game bug type, and it's only encounterable during mornings. And it's also not available in Gold version as a warning. Its counterpart, however, is Spinarak. Spinarak, the bug poison type, is this game's version of Beedrill. It's a bit better, a bit more offense-oriented, still not the most worth your time, but poison as a status is worth it. And for some reason, its evolution Ariados can learn Psychic. I don't know why, I'm not the boss. There are worse Pokemon to get, but Ariados isn't the worst thing, I guess. If you really want to use one, you could do worse. Now, there are also some other Pokemon that we can still run into, but those are tied to nighttime specifically. Exclusively, currently, within Gold version, you can run into Hoot Hoot. A normal flying type, again, similar to the Pidgey family and Spearow family. Hoot Hoot plays a lot differently in that it's meant to be more defensive, but also carries a decent enough special attacking stat. Hoot Hoots actually learn psychic moves, which can be very beneficial in fighting things like fighting types or poison types. May not seem all that good, but trust me, there's reasons to want to consider a Hoot Hoot for your team. I would not say it's amazing, but it's a decent enough pick if you want something like this. Just be warned, they're usually only available at night unless you find other circumstances to encounter them. Switching back to Crystal version, however, native to nighttime habitats you can find Poliwag, a water type. Poliwag's pretty good, actually. It starts kind of weak, but it evolves relatively early on into Poliwhirl, and then can evolve into a branching evolution. One of those evolutions we'll not be able to talk about for quite a while. The other is Poliwrath, who gets himself water fighting as a type, and becomes a big, bulky water type. Pretty powerful and has a good section of moves to use from. You could do worse than Poliwrath. And last but certainly not least, the Menace of Caves, Zubat. Zubat is detested in Generation 1 for being the annoying thing that constantly bugs you in caves. Don't let that discourage you in this generation. Zubat gets a lot better in the form of a second evolution to its chain that I think is actually worth it. Whether or not you want to use this thing is up to your discretion, but you could do a lot worse, and it's a flying poison type, so it's got a unique type for itself as well. However, I'm just lost. I just lost, so I'm trying to find more Pokemon. Wait, you look weak. Come on, let's battle. Well, that's just rude of you, dude. We have a trainer battle. You could avoid this guy if you walk around the tall grass, but I'm not gonna, because it's youngster Joey and his top percentage Rattata. Let's go, baby. He sends out Rattata. Of course he does. Also, funny story. Crystal version animations for Pokemon, as I mentioned, are unique. Gold and Silver did not have battle animations for these Pokemon. It's kind of weird. Crystal was unique in that regard, and it's kind of surprising to me. Tail Whip. Nice, that attack failed. Tail Whip just lowers defense, but that's not going to bother us because you are already dead. Okay, not quite, but give me a second. You'll be dead. And yeah, day and night cycle really does play a big part in certain encounters in this generation. Some generations don't even have day and night as a concept, while others don't really focus on it as a thing that will occur. I think Generation 2, in many regards, still does things that are pretty impressive for its time that other gens just don't rely on. It's kind of weird to me. Now, funny thing, if you talk to Joey a second time after beating him, do I have to have more Pokemon in order to battle better? No, I'm sticking with this one no matter what. Listen, can I get your phone number? I'll ring you for some battles. I'm a rookie too, so I think that may be a good motivator. You can register other trainers into your Pokegear. You only have so many slots, but you can register others into the gear, and they'll call you randomly with certain updates. Sometimes they'll request certain battles, or they'll have items for you. Really useful to keep in mind if you know certain ones. I'll ring you whenever I get the urge to battle. He's going to tell you a lot about his top percentage Rattata. Everyone's having fun battling. You should too. I think I am. Head on this way, and we got this kid to deal with. You're a Pokemon trainer, right? Then you have to battle. Oh, bad burp. What the heck? That was weird. Anyway, we got this guy, another youngster. Youngster Mikey wants to battle. He's got a Pidgey. Yeah, trainers are not going to have the most unique Pokemon around here, I'm going to be honest. A common criticism of Generation 2, at least the original games, is that there's not many new Pokemon, which I don't think is fair because they only added 100, which is less than a third of what Generation 1 had, and they kind of overlap a lot. This game is a direct sequel to Gen 1, and you can tell that by the fact that a lot of Pokemon for Johto just kind of mingle with the Kanto Pokemon. I actually think that's perfectly fine. So honestly, we can just kind of deal with this. Tackle, no problem. One more tackle for good measure. Ah, damn, I was hoping for the crit. And they keep trying Tail Whip, but that's not going to work because we're just better than them in every way. Take that. Nice and easy. And level up. We're at level 10 already. Goodness. I'm actually trying to not get too much experience, so that's a bit of a problem, but we'll try to avoid that. That's strange. I won before. $64 from winning. Sent some to Mom. Let's continue on this way. Now, this girl is actually not a trainer. I'm not a trainer, but if you look one in the eyes, prepare to battle. That is the rule. Trainers, if you make eye contact, you have to battle. There is one directly in front of us. We're going to try to get around him. Of course, there's another wild Pidgey. I'm going to try and circumvent them. There we go. This one, I'm actually going to come back to later because I want to save him for something. Because there is a Pokemon within the relative range of this in Violet City that I want to get and use for my team, but we can't encounter it right now. So we're just going to do a little bit of the running. And head up this way to Route 31. Let's see. I believe 31 also has some different encounters for us, so give me a sec. We might have to do some more bios real quickly. Oh, God. There's so many of these. Okay, it looks like there's just one, thankfully, so that's not too big of a concern, thank goodness. Well, I guess there's two, but we'll handle that in due time. For starters, this is the route that connects us directly to Violet City, and, well, there you go, actually. I wasn't expecting it, but it works out. The other encounter that is brand new to this game, or brand new for this area, is Bellsprout. Bellsprout is a bug... I've got to stop saying bug, what the heck. It's a grass poison type, but it focuses more on being a mixed attacking Pokemon. Which, not the best thing in this generation, because grass and poison are both... Wait, no, actually. That actually kind of does work, because poison is physical in this generation. That actually works. Grass and poison are different types of attacks, so he does cover a lot of ground, and while he does have a bit of low health from being a mixed attacker, you could do worse than having a Bellsprout on your team, I'm gonna be honest. Victory Bell, its evolution, is a little bit of a ways off, but you could do worse. The other Pokemon you can get, if you wait until nighttime, in Crystal Virgin specifically, you have a 5% encounter rate of finding Ghastly. Yes, the original Ghost type is available for you in this game. Ghastly may not seem all that powerful at first, but if you evolve it to Haunter, it becomes quite scary, and if you can somehow trade to get Gengar, you've got a menace on your hands. Be warned though, Gengar, while powerful, Ghost is a physical type in this generation, so Gengar's best typing for it is neutered. Pokemon, if they use moves of the same type as themselves, get a same type attack bonus for damage, but that does not benefit Gengar's incredibly low physical attack stat. And don't ask me why Ghost is a physical type, I don't know. Also, no abilities in this game means that Gengar does not have Levitate, so it is vulnerable to ground attacks. Be careful. Let's just pick up this potion for ourselves. Nice. And of course, we also got this guy right here. Dark Cave. If Pokemon could light it up, I'd explore it. Yeah, that would probably be a little bit useful, I think. But you know what? I don't think that really matters to us right now. Because there is a little bit of ways off. But once we get a bit further in, we'll probably be good enough to get to the next town. What do you got, mister? I walked too far today looking for Pokemon. My feet hurt and I'm sleepy. If I were a wild Pokemon, I'd be easy to catch. Yeah, fair enough. Sleep is a really good hazard to have to make it easy to catch Pokemon. And there's a Bitterberry. Bitterberry, I actually don't remember what this berry does. It might be to snap you out of Confusion, which is another status we have not seen yet. Yes, self-hold for Confusion. Confusion is a thing that will go away after battle is done, but your Pokemon will either continue its attack or hit itself in Confusion. Be careful with that one. Let's see, we also got another trainer block on the way down there. I think it's best that we call it for now. We're almost to Violet City, and there's a couple things that I want to do around here real fast when we get the right time for it, but we've been running for a while. So, next time on Let's Play Pokemon Crystal, we're going to continue onward to Violet City, and maybe get ourselves a new Pokemon for the adventure. Till next time, ice out.